So day 3 of this challenge, saying, okay, sticking to it, evaluating the thoughts when you're in the fasting portion time. Then we'll get into the food time. So I realized, okay, the things I was eating in that time, I took a different look at, and I was like, oh, okay, I should track this, because what you think we're having, sometimes like the amounts or the things can be way out of whack. And this from a person who's been in the fitness industry, who knew portions, who knew things for so long, almost like, I don't know what happened to my brain. It's like it almost forgot. And then you have to go back to going, okay, do I really need this amount of food? If I feel I do, why? And why am I eating? What are the patterns? And that goes back to mindfulness and mindful eating and our choices, which makes a huge difference. So understanding the mindfulness component is something that we get into, because in a little bit in this 21 days, we just touch on it. But the next phases is where we really are going into a lot more of the mindfulness at a different level, because that's where you change so much when you understand that. So being aware of it, we're going to talk about it. And then we go deeper and deeper and deeper into that, because it's understanding it. So, right, we want to start with because we want to build upon, like, you're going to think about this process in this program from, the beginning to as we work through it. It's building, essentially, really, we'll say like building a castle. Forget just building a house, because who just wants to build a house? No, we want to build a castle. So the base, right, you want to build a strong foundation. Right? So you're going to think about this. You're building a strong foundation is the first phase of understanding your own self, your psyche, the body reflection, the internal dialogue that you have. That's your programming, right? So if we're building an empire, right? And it's a castle, right? So that's actually like a good kind of analogy when you're building an empire or that castle, and you want to protect it. Well, you want to protect this. This is what you want to protect, but this is where the damage comes from. And the damage has come from the outside sources that have been around in so long. So when you're born worthy, right? And then all of these external things, you're going to think like almost like the enemies coming at you, if you're in your castle, have been breaking you down. So we want to rebuild that empire and rebuild that castle, but the only way to do it is to first destroy it, right? In a way, so by what? Breaking it down. Kind of like a robot. So it just depends on the analogies. I like the crossover, almost like, I guess a good analogy, pretend like your little computer game in your brain, right? And you're seeing yourself building out your own empire and your own castle, and you think of your body that way and your brain that way. It wasn't the mind candy method of it, right? To try to understand that, because I try to work in visuals for people to understand that. So day 3, just as I said, I want to touch on these things, because these are the things we talk about and build upon that are so important as you rebuild yourself. So we're breaking ourselves down to building ourselves back up, right? That's the most, so that we build a strong, right, fortress and protection, and you have the right things around you. And then that goes back into it, even the external environment, so that those things can't come in, the enemies, and break you, because you're so strong up here. You're so strong here. And that's so important. So we're going to get into that and show that a little bit more.